create more with less, with the intent of saving on energy, capital, time, and resources. So I am going to draw this analogy from lean thinking and apply it to the green innovation. So I am opening up with the I'm opening up to the panel. Before I'll start with the questions to panel, we have an esteemed guest between us or amongst us. We have Anastasia, Miss Anastasia from Russian House. She is the head of Youth Affairs from the Department of Science and Culture. So she is there with us. We are very fortunate to have an international presence to this panel. India, since its independence, we have one time-tested friend, the friend of Bharat, Russia. And thank you, Anastasia, for being here today. And I would like to start with you, asking one peculiar question. So, they say oil runs the wheels of the economy. And anything related to energy, if we tweak it even a 1%, will have an impact, a larger multifold impact on the economy. And I believe we are having some talks and some agreements on the bilateral relations between India and Russia on the environment front. Can you please talk a little bit on that, and then we'll open the panel.
First of all, thank you very much for this kind and warm introduction. It's a great pleasure to be invited to this panel session, and for sure to be like among so prominent speakers around me. And thank you very much, dear students, for your support also. So as we I really our dear moderator started session very interesting that he said that he is not professional in some things. So I also can say that I'm not professional in environmental topic. Yeah, but still I think that we can have something to discuss. And for sure, so first I will say a few words maybe for you to understand about my background and where I'm working now. So we have Russian Center for Science and Culture in different states of India, and I'm based in Delhi. And and our main goal is to promote humanitarian cooperation, and for sure among all the issues that can be part of this humanitarian cooperation in general, we have youth affairs, we have environmental topics, we have culture, and etc. And I can say that during my professional background, I was involved to the working under the Russian government in terms of youth affairs, and because of that, here in India, I'm also responsible for this issue, and I'm very happy for that especially with young Indian people, I can work now. So, and in terms of the question that our moderator raised, first of all, I want to highlight that for sure that bilateral relations between Russia and India, they have the prominent success now. And you know that recently our president visited India, and this visit is considered one of the most successful during the history. And thank you. Thank you very much for great hospitality from the India to this visit. It was full of besides I can say from background that despite the very tough program that our president had, we have a lot of Russian delegations that came especially during these days. They organized exhibitions, they signed a lot of memorandum of understandings. So in our Russian center, we had the head of Roscosmos, so it's our space organization. We had so many issues to discuss, and I'm very happy that we did it, and hopefully that we will continue these proposals that now we have on the plate. So yeah, in terms of environmental issues, for sure, as I mentioned, that Russia and India, great countries, and we have cooperation in all the spheres, I can say. So I can't mention only one sphere that we don't have agreements or we just don't have understanding between each other. So yeah, and in terms of environmental issues, I can say that we can maybe concentrate on few topics. First of all, it's like nuclear energy, that we exchange technologies, and we can say about like our state agency Rosatom, who is like it is working on this, on sustainable development of the technologies and on green technologies. So we have exchanging of technologies there. So also, I want to mention here space technologies, because like maybe it's not obvious, so how like environmental issues connected with this issue, but first of all, like space is one of the top topic in our like negotiations. So you know that we have some common production in like space sphere, and like we learn from each other a lot in this area. And so in terms of space technologies, I can say that even like recently we had the Russian delegation from the Ministry of the Emergencies of Russian Federation, and we visited National Disaster Management Authority, and we discussed with them how like space technologies can like help to control the emergency situations, and they are also connected with environmental issues, because it's like natural disasters also that we can mention. And it was very fruitful visit, and we concluded that indeed we have very similar system in terms of exploring and monitoring the situation. And so now we like are going to develop space technologies in order to help to prevent emergency situations, and it's also very interesting. So yeah, for sure, like we can say about in general green technologies that we develop together. Artificial intelligence, for sure, like the top now also area, and I think that India is like the leader country in this area. So yeah, for sure, like we use it. And also I cannot mention that in part of our multilateral platforms, I mean BRICS, G20, SCO, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, we always have like working groups on environmental issues, on green technologies, on climate changing, and etc. So I mean that, yeah, I will conclude now that we have like bilateral cooperation on these issues connected with another spheres, okay. And also we like have the same opinion on multilateral platforms, what is important to mention. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Anastasia. Thank you for summarizing all that we are doing bilaterally in such a short note. One last question. You had the opportunity to taste the KLU chai on the first floor canteen of R&D block. How was it?
Thank you for this question. I can say that it was great for sure. It's too sweet. Yeah, sometimes in India it's too spicy or too sweet for Russian people. But yeah, in general it's great, yeah.
We are too sweet. We can't do anything about it.
Thank you.
And we're not sorry for it. Okay. Let us now migrate into a more, on a serious note, let us now start, not with the technology. As I mentioned, we're not here to talk about the list of technologies, but let us start with the behavior that we see on everyday basis. How many of you here know what is jugaad? Jugaad ane concept evarana vinnara? Okay. Jugaad, yes. Can you speak a few words about, or what do you know about jugaad? Sorry, Mike. You can take this. You can take this.
So basically, जुगाड़ in the Hindi is like DIY. कुछ भी करके कर लो भाई. That's what. That's the basic thing. clothes or anywhere, studies के time पे जुगाड़ करते हैं भाई कि if you don't get this book, let's get somewhere, ask your friends, ask someone. So that's what basically. No, internal exams पे जुगाड़, हाँ वो बहुत ज़्यादा होता है, yeah. So internal exams or anywhere in the life when we didn't get something, a alternative for it.
Actually, the best example for Jugaad is using the power bank when there is no electricity. And another best example is using the public transport to save fuel and to save the environment. That's it.
Just an innovative solution, I could say, with the creative resources. Just to conclude with all their examples.
Thank you for all those inputs. So, on a first principle basis, I would say, ఇక్కడ మనం విన్నట్టు కుచ్ బి కర్కే కర్లో భాయ్. That's the line. That's a beautiful line. That's how you define Jugaad. The shortcut thinking approach. But let us also think on the first principles basis. We are not romanticizing Jugaad here. It's no mistake, we can do that as well, but let's not go there. The first principles of Jugaad say this. The Jugaad always thinks about reaching the functional value even without any resources or with limited resources. So, innovation under constraints. Someone mentioned about power bank. So, I would say Jugaad can be as simple as using your backpack as your pillow when you're traveling on a train, sleeper coach. That's Jugaad. There's a beautiful example of Jugaad, I can mention it here. Sorry, I'll open it to the panel. I just want to have a few examples. So, in Punjab, I don't know which town, it might be Ludhiana. Punjabis are known for their love towards lassi. They drink tall glasses of lassi on a daily basis. So, there are a chain of shops in Ludhiana that use washing machines to mix their lassi. Washing machines to mix their lassi. సో మనం వాషింగ్ మిషన్ బట్టలు ఉతకడానికి వాడతాం, మహా అయితే డ్రయర్కి వాడుకుంటాం, ఇంకా అయితే దాని మీద ఏమైనా వస్తువులు పెట్టుకుని కింద వాషింగ్ మిషన్ ఆన్ చేసుకుంటాం. లైక్ డిడ్ యూ ఎవర్ సీ అ పర్సన్ యూజింగ్ వాషింగ్ మిషన్ ఫర్ మిక్సింగ్ లస్సీ? సో దిస్ ఈస్ innovation under constraints. This speaks a lot about innovation under constraints. Go to the market with speed. Don't wait for the market to come up with a solution. Use what you have. So these are the first principles of Jugaad. So I'm just extending this Jugaad. Like this Jugaad has saved Indian economy from many crises. We have navigated many supply side constraints with this Jugaad. One more very important example of Jugaad was in COVID, when Indian government started utilizing unused railway coaches converted as hospitals to admit patients and admit patients who are severely ill. So that is Jugaad. You have the resource. You are repurposing those resources. So today, is the need of the hour green Jugaad? Can we add the intent green to this Jugaad and make it green Jugaad? So my question to Yash now is, what do you think about green Jugaad first? And the second question is, if the need of the hour is green Jugaad, how can we, because you work in the intersection of policy, skilling the youth and also the research, how can you identify the gaps that are there in present day youth? How can we have some frameworks for training the youth towards making this Jugaad not an accidental thinking approach, rather by design, success by chance to success by design? How can we make that happen?
All right, thanks for the question, Rakesh. Firstly, thank you so much for having me. It's sometimes difficult to believe the amount of warmth in the room, and even with the organizers and everyone, sort of invites us every other year and puts this together. To the Jignasa team, everyone, thank you so much. Really means a lot. I would slightly differ from, the premise. I think when it comes to green Jugaad, we can have innovative solutions to lead a more sustainable lifestyle at an individual level, but I don't think that's possible at the institutional level. As a country, when we are setting up systems, when we are setting up programs, putting budget behind it and a national vision, I don't think that should be our approach anyways, right? Yes, at an individual level, sure, we can lead a more sustainable lifestyle through some hacks here, and that's fine. right? But more importantly, Rakesh, on what you asked, right, on the skills and careers part, I think Andhra Pradesh today is the state where probably the most opportunities exist for young people to build very meaningful careers in the, the new green economy, right? I was reading how it's projected that there's some 30 million new jobs in the green economy space by 2047. I mean, a lot of these numbers are gibberish, so that's fine, but sure, there are a lot of jobs nonetheless, right? New jobs that are being created, right? But at the same time, the state government has put a very concerted effort towards bringing a lot of these ideas to reality, right? There's near Vizag, there's Pudikamadu, where a green hydrogen hub is being set up, right? In Siluseri, there's a whole what we call BESS, battery energy storage system. Those are being set up, it's the largest in India actually, right? In Amravati, there's a energy university that's being set up, right? If you go to Vizag, there's a Ratan Tata Innovation Hub with a funding of 1,000 crores, right? That sort of focuses on funding individual innovative solutions and startups, right, that the youth of the state are coming up with in the sustainability space, right? In Kuppam, there's an Andhra Pradesh Green Skills Hub that has been set up, right? It's called 1&1MB, right? I can go on and on, right? But in the largest cities of the state, right, just within Andhra itself, there's so much happening in terms of actions, right? Not just for training the youth of the state, but also real money is being invested for any solution that you come up with, right, to lead the transition. We must remember one thing. I know we have a lot of sort of panelists to cover, so very briefly. Andhra Pradesh has India's longest coastline as a state, 1,000 kilometers, right? Almost 1,000 kilometers, 975 or something, right? That is an asset. From offshore wind power to aquaculture to marine biotechnology, this is a state where all of these sort of industries should be developed, the R&D should happen, and the innovation should come out of here, right? I was reading how recently the United States put a tariff on, a lot of Indian exports, and from Andhra Pradesh, shrimp is a huge export to the US, right? And then just 1 month later, I was reading how entrepreneurs in Andhra Pradesh, they've sort of, figure out ways around it. A, by diversifying markets that they export to, right, including Russia, in fact, right? But B, more importantly, sort of processing the shrimp into ready-to-eat products, right? Great, right? So it's like, made the most out of adversity. I'll stop there. I could go on and on specifics of, how Andhra Pradesh as a state is uniquely suited, India's youngest state, to lead this green revolution, make the most out of it. But yeah.
Sure. And in one line, would you, so you're opposing the premise, you would
I'm
say.
not opposing the premise. I'm saying that as a country, honestly, we should not be, when we are building systems at a national level, I mean, this is world's fourth largest economy you're talking about. We have to be more serious in that sense. We have to think of the long term. Jugaad is great at an individual level, right, where there's a lack of resources. But for a country of India's size and seriousness, we should be thinking slightly more institutional, mechanized setups. That's what I would say.
Understood. So now we have heard from the policy expert. Let us also hear what a practitioner has to say about this. Sir, is the government of the day thinking in terms of introducing the concept of Jugaad into the, not the Jugaad, but how to institutionalize this Jugaad into the policy? The Jugaad that is productive, the Jugaad that is looking to be more functional, the Jugaad that takes your product, speed it to the market, revenue recognition is faster. So what are the thoughts of the government of the day in terms of policy framing around this? And in practice, what insights do you have in this particular area?
First of all, a warm good afternoon to all the students and members of KLUniversity, the chair, and other esteemed members. Am I audible? So, a warm good afternoon to students, august members, our honored guests, and seniors. See, Jugaad, I would say, is a way of Indian life. When he first asked the question of Jugaad, I remember just one thing. Bachpan mein, my house was in Tamil Nadu, and we have a small farm on the way to Sabrimala. So, we used to catch a lot of these fireflies, put it inside the old Horlicks bottle and hang it up. So, once you capture it and put it, it gives light for somewhere around 35 to 40 minutes maximum. And at the same time, whenever we were traveling in this train coaches during a younger age, there used to be a lot of sleeper coaches that time and general coaches. So there used to be this luggage racks. Luggage racks were kept for children. So children used to sleep in the luggage rack. Now that is typical Indian jugaad. Now coming to it institutionally, I would say that we are the largest population. But I would also like to quote Dr. Amartya Sen here. For every person, you have 2 working hands. Which means if you have a 140 crore population, you have 280 crore hands to work. So you have to give work to 280 crore people, and you have to give them employment. You have to give them a sustainable economy so that they can make money which is sufficient for their family, which gets them a decent access. Now, do you think with the limited resource of the nation, is it possible to do any of this without jugaad? It's not possible. Absolutely not possible. So yes, the government is institutionally supporting innovation. They may not use the word jugaad in the scheme name, but yes, Atal Innovation Labs are there in every place in Andhra Pradesh. I worked in Rampachodavaram, and the Atal Innovation Lab which surprised me most was in a government school in Maredamalli. You have heard of that place? It's pretty famous for bamboo chicken. So Maredamalli, it's a tribal area, and you have one of the most primitive tribal groups of Andhra living there. And a tribal kid actually came up with the autonomous cart. You walk in front, the cart will follow you, basically on sensors. So now, what is the jugaad here if you ask? You don't have to push anything. You actually spend more time shopping there. Okay. So, jugaad is part of our blood, and it will help India become more green, more lean, and more efficient. So, let it be Atal Innovation Labs, Startup India. There are schemes particularly for encouraging fuel cell technologies, new chemistry technologies, renewable energies, and all these are nothing but promoting innovation within the nation. So yes, I would accept with the premise, as a government and as an institution, we are promoting innovation in one way or the other, but we are in the beginning step of it. We do have a long way to go. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That was really insightful, sir. So, no words actually. Your bamboo chicken brought back some good memories. So, yeah. Let us also hear from our friends who are eco-entrepreneurs now. So we have Jagadish, who is the founder of Smart Bhujal in the field of water management, and we have Vinay, who is the founder of Sri Ramana Renewable Energy Private Limited. So the question to both of you: you are right now in the market. You're walking through the industry. Can you give us few examples in your industry where in any part of the value chain, right from the foundational step to taking your product to the market, where do you see this Indian jugaad thinking that is working out, especially in the field that you are there? Give us some examples there. One leading example I can give, in one of our conversations, we have talked about a person in Australia or somewhere. I don't know whether it can be India, sorry. We are not here for the facts. So if you have a 1 acre land and you're installing these solar panels, you have to leave some space between these rows of solar panels. And that person is repurposing that land to farm some cash crop to get some money out of it, like alternate stream of revenue, even with a solar plant on the land. So such jugaads, like what did you witness, and can you please?
Hello, good afternoon everyone. It's nice being here and nice to be with so many good panelists. So what Rakesh was referring to is called photovoltaics, where agriculture is being tried in between or including with solar energy. So I think that has crossed a certain level of MVP outside India. There are a good number of companies who are adopting it outside India, especially in Europe. In India, it's still in a nascent phase. So coming to the Jugaad concept in that, I think it's more useful, or it adds more value at the MVP level of the product innovation. So at an MVP level, you need faster cycles to test something, to validate something, and to maybe standardize and build a repeatable component, which then you can scale. So that is the stage where you can add these Jugaad hacks to build that repeatable component quickly. So I think that's where it adds most of the value.
Yeah, Jagadish, do you have?
Hi everyone, good afternoon. My name is Jagdish. I'm a PhD in water management and I run a company called Smart Bhujal. We are at IIT Tirupati, and so to answer this question, I agree with so what we do is that at the initial level we need to implement Jugaad to develop the prototype product, right? The basic product. And once we have that basic product, we need to get into the market. We need to understand the market. Now your customer has to buy your product, right? If so we need to take our product, our prototype into the market, test it. So all these are conventional process where Jugaad we cannot apply, right? But in the prototype phase, we need to do whatever innovations that we have to do, and we need to apply whatever Jugaad that we have to do to take that, to build that prototype and get into the market. So after that, we need to have the conventional process running, like documenting your innovations. And after that, whenever you move from version 1 to version 2, then you need to understand what market needs and what exactly your product is lacking. So you need to document all of them. You need to improve your product based on that. So once you reach a stable position, then basically you will achieve the scale, right? You are building something that your customers want. Then customers will immediately start buying your product. So you will start with Jugaad, but with Jugaad, when you add the right conventional process, it becomes a powerful motive for you, right? So one of the examples that I can give is that I was working in southern India. I was working with around 7,000 farmers for a project, and I was actually talking to Narendran Garu, explaining one example. So what our goal was to, so I work in water, AI, and software. So I was given a task to develop a tool, right, to serve the customers, to serve the farmers, explaining them what is the weather there, what is the crop type, and etc. So different crop advisory. And also I need to tell them what is the water level so that they can understand how much water they should apply. So this is the problem statement. Now we need to put some sensors. Each sensor costs around thousands, and some sensors will be in lakhs, right? So when we have installed these sensors on field, farmers thought that we are stopping water, right? And immediately some of them were stolen, and some of them they have damaged them, right? So what we did, one Jugaad that we applied was that the area where we are working, the people are fans of Allu Arjun, right? And we have seen what they like. And so at the time, Pushpa movie was releasing. Okay, so just below Pushpa poster, we have put our posters. Okay, saying that this is the technology, and this is how it will be helpful for you. Although it didn't bring a lot of change, but it has started, that kind of spark in farmers that, hey, something else is going on in this village, and we need to support. And also, on top of sensors, we have put some kind of, devotional labels so that they won't break them. And so we did a lot of Jugaad being on field. And yeah, so at the innovation level, at the prototype level, we can have a lot of Jugaad, but so it has to be combined with conventional process so that you guys can become powerful. So your product will become absolutely powerful. Yeah, thank you.
So, Jagadish, I guess you had a assal taggedele moment in your in your business, and see how you have repurposed the star power to save your to save your business model at least. So let us actually transition into a newer concept here. As we speak about repurposing, there is one more concept in green economy that's called circular economies. And the core of the circular economy is repurposing something that is already thought of as waste. Something that is thought of as waste, we intend to draw out latent value and recreate value out of that. So I would like to ask the professor here to take us deeper into the concept of circular economies, and we'll move on from there.
Okay. Greetings to you all. I am Professor KVSJ Murali Krishna. I did my civil engineering and then masters in environmental engineering from NIT Surat, and then did my PhD. Formerly, I was the Vice Chancellor of JNTU Kakinada, and I am an ardent lover of nature, first and last. Before coming to this point, let me praise myself in one point, and that is, I'm a professor in a government university, and we get pension. After 60 years of age, when we retire, I will be getting about 1,50,000 as pension till my last breath. Anything happens to me, my wife will be getting 75,000 per month for whatever I am doing good now, telling good things. Then a great poet called Murali Krishna, that is myself, he thought, for whatever little bit I am doing, I am getting pension till my last breath. How much the trees are doing? They are absorbing the carbon dioxide, the villain of life, and then giving us all the oxygen. They are giving us shade, fruits, wood, you name anything it is giving us. So I felt that any old tree of age more than 60 years also should get pension. And we declared pension for old trees. Any tree from Palasa to Ongole in our jurisdiction, if any college has a tree of age more than 60 years, then our university gives a pension of 2,500 rupees per tree per year. Maybe it is a small money, but it is a very beautiful thing. This beautiful thing I have copied from the government of Haryana, where they declared a scheme called Pranavayu scheme, and they started giving pensions to very old trees. So all the good things of the world, they have no copyright. So I also have copied that and implemented in our university. Thank you very much for clapping for that. Another thing I want to praise myself, and that is, in my house we grow vegetables, and we don't use even 1 gram of fertilizer or 1 gram of pesticide also. Everything is homemade. All our road, about 100-meter length road, buffaloes and cows, they drop their droppings, dung. We collect them with our own hands. And our house has a lot of trees are there, so plants are there, leaves will be there. We compost it ourselves, zero cost composting. We don't waste anything. Gobar is a waste for everybody, not for me. Leaves are waste for everybody, not for me. We mix all of them and do composting in our own home, and we grow all vegetables in our house itself. And only for a very few things like potatoes and other things we go out. Otherwise everything is homegrown, and they are very, very healthy. So here for everybody it is a waste, but for us it is wealth. Circular economy is nothing but waste to wealth. Our Vedas also say, Vyardhat ardham iyameva prajna. Vyardhat means from waste. Ardham means wealth. Vyardhat ardham iyam eva prajna. This is what knowledge is. This is what skill is. This is what engineering is. This is what management is. So nothing is a waste in this world. We say as useful as a tree, as useless as nothing. I will give one more example, Andhra Pradesh point of view to conclude. In Andhra Pradesh, we have scarcity of rich agricultural soils. But what we do is, This agricultural soil is very costly. Their scarcity is there. That agricultural soil, we burn it to manufacture bricks. How cruel it is. So, a valuable resource you are wasting. And then you are burning and releasing CO2. The entire world today is focusing on only one thing. The safe and sustainable value of CO2 is 350 ppm. Today we are at 425 ppm. I taught my own students that today carbon dioxide level is 390 ppm, we should decrease it. Today I am teaching the students, today it is we are at 425 ppm, we should reduce it. So CO2 levels are increasing. And what we are doing by burning that agricultural soil, we are increasing the values of CO2. So we should reduce it. So what we have done is, in my own campus also have done it, we have taken waste mineral water bottles, which is a waste for everybody, and then we have filled it with C&D waste, construction and demolished waste, which is waste for everybody. And then we have used, instead of mineral water or good quality water, we have used a very poor quality water in capped it. And in place of bricks, we used these mineral water bottles filled with construction and demolished waste and other waste materials. So all platforms for trees, all footpaths today, if you use plastic and convert it to footpaths, it is the best. So these are all waste for everybody, but we should use them and convert it into wealth, use as footpaths, use as platforms, use as benches, whatever it is. That is waste to wealth concept, which is a very good concept and which I have implemented, and this is a very good scope. And today another big challenge is electrical and electronic waste. You see all the cities in Andhra Pradesh, including Vijayawada, Visakhapatnam, you will find all electrical and electronic waste. They are converted into that method is called, art is called collage. Collage means art with waste materials. So using this, they make elephants or rhinoceros and small rabbits or puppies, etc. A big thing, art piece costs as much as 5 lakh rupees. There are organizations which can train you for 3 days, and they will tell you how to convert electrical and electronic waste into art pieces. It is a very good field, and 3 days or 4 days you can make one art piece that can fetch you about 1 lakh rupees or 2 lakh rupees. So it is a very good thing, and you are converting waste to wealth aspect. So in my house also, nothing is wasted. In India, 0.5 kg solid waste is standard. Every person releases 0.5 kg of solid waste every day per capita. That means plastic waste, paper waste, all the polythene covers, etc., etc. But in our case, except those very minute things like the milk covers, etc., we don't send any waste out of my house. So all these things, unless and until even a single bedroom apartment also, it should have its own gardening system, or some plants should be there. So as youngsters, as entrepreneurs, you can manage such type of things. You visit every house once in 10 days, educate them on, you have your own plants, you keep them, maintain them, and it is a very, very good business. And as the Nobel Prize winner in economics said, business is not for money, it is for solving problems. Today, a big problem of the society is waste, how to manage waste. And if you can convert that waste to such type of things, then that is excellent. Business is not for money, it is for solving the problems. Thank you all very much for your listening.
Lovely insights there, sir. I wish I were your student for environmental science back when I was doing my BTech. But yeah, yesterday we were walking with my friend, and we were actually thinking, I was an alumnus of KLU, by the way. So we were actually talking about what would these trees have seen from 2009 when we were doing our BTech, like what stupid things these trees must have been witness of. And now this is a beautiful idea of paying the pension to trees. A very, very thoughtful and innovative idea. Thank you for that, sir. So coming to the policy arena, I'll just start with an example of a circular economy that I have seen in my life, and we'll also open to audience to get some examples from there. So recently I have seen, we call that agarbatti, the incense sticks, there's a brand called Fool, which is actually repurposing the used flowers from Kashi Vishwanath temple and all other sacred temples. The flowers that are offered to the god, they are like some thousands of kilograms of flowers every day being thrown to waste. They are repurposing those flowers into producing these incense sticks, and they're actually using widowed women as building small-scale enterprises with them and manufacturing these incense sticks. They're earning a lot of premium. Like మనం అంబికా దర్బార్ బత్తి కొనుక్కునే ప్యాకెట్ ప్రైస్ కన్నా 3 times ఎక్కువ ప్రైస్ పే చేస్తే వీఆర్ able to buy that. So something that is repurposed is actually drawing premium value in the market, not just a very moderate piece. So my question to Sudhanshu and also to Madish is, how can we actually mainstream this circular economy concept as a mainstream industrial practice? And because you are in the field of youth empowerment, and if this can be thought as a blue ocean market that is uncontested or less contested, how can we make sure youth have opportunities, or at the policy level, how will this manifest?
Thanks. Namaskaram, Andhra Pradesh. Yeah. So, interesting question. So, I have known the founders of this initiative, Fool, and repurposing, I think it's the need of the hour, how we minimize waste. So, I'll just pull you all back to the times of COVID-19. I think, you must have seen during the 3 months of lockdown, nature healed itself. Everything was clear. AQI was excellent. You could see birds, environment, thrilling, thriving. So I think if we stop doing everything, everything will be good. But which is not possible in today's time, because we all survive with daily human activities. So I think the only species on the planet that has done more than harm to this planet is only humans, right? And it is a huge responsibility on ourselves how we minimize this damage through our daily activities. Sometimes we are, not consciously aware what sort of damage we do to the environment. So I think coming back to the question, like initiatives like this, so it is very well said that such solutions which they offer are not affordable to the masses. It is only for the privileged ones. Like, for example, you say it is priced 3 times. You will find products in the market, organic products in the market, which are heavily priced. So then it doesn't really go to the masses. It is only for a premium segment of customers. The question is, how do we really make it affordable and accessible to everyone? Hence, we solve this problem at a larger level. It should not be just a business. So like it was well said that businesses should offer solutions. It should not be about money. But right now, it is a money-based model. That's what I understand. Secondly, you should also understand, is it really sustainable? Like, it looks very fascinating that the flowers are repurposed into incense sticks, right? So now, does it really do good to the environment? For example, I will give you an example. Like plastic bags, single-use plastic, it's not good for the environment for sure, right? So now there are tote bags which are made from fabric, right? And we use these tote bags. They are more sustainable, which is admired by everyone, and people have started using it. But do you really know that for how long you should use this cotton bag, tote bag, so it does less harm to the environment than a plastic bag? Can anyone guess in this room? For how long you should use this cotton tote bag so it does less harm to the environment? Any guesses, random guesses, than a plastic bag?
More than a year?
It is 60 years you should use it. So sometimes, like to do something different, to make the concept look cooler, we do some things which actually does more harm to the environment. There are a lot of startups which I know. So since I'm a consultant to Earth Day Network, which is the world's largest environmental organization, I observe these startups initiatives very closely. So there are initiatives, like single-use plastic, some like pens. We don't even realize, where we throw our plastic pens. They just go anywhere, right? And there are startups and initiatives which recycle this pen. There are shredder machines, and they shred this plastic pens and they create artifacts out of it. it looks so cool. The value is so high while you buy this, but then it is actually doing more damage than recycling them directly, because there are microplastics which are getting into the environment which you can't even trace or you cannot even capture. So these initiatives look cool at one end, but they are doing really more damage. Secondly, the cost of production from such a waste to something else is fairly large. So a lot of economic investment goes, and it is also not catering to masses. So how do we effectively engage this waste into different kinds of processes? Maybe just converting it into manure, into compost manure is more effective than converting into an agarbatti, right? So we need to figure out the optimal solutions, how these initiatives or how this waste can be handled. So now, like, also, I wanted to speak a little bit on the Jugaad system, because it was very interesting to listen all speakers here in the room. So I would like to say that I would like to give a fantastic example of Jugaad. So every one of you must know about this Mangal mission, Mars mission, right? In this mission, ISRO engaged young researchers as students, like students from the universities. And the net budget, if anyone is aware of, what was the budget of this Mars mission? Can anyone say?
I just know that
It's 450 crores, which is also less than the budget of a Hollywood movie, Gravity, right? So now, you know, to take this vehicle from Earth to Mars, the consumption of fuel would have costed more than 450 crores, actually. But how did this happen? How did this happen? Interesting question, because there were young people engaged into this mission. Now, the main problem or the solution lies with young people. For example, we all study conventional processes, and we know all laws of physics, all laws of nature, and we know, okay, this thing will not work, this thing works this way. But when it comes to young people who have not experienced this practically, उनको यही नहीं पता कि उनको क्या नहीं पता. So they can think with liberty. So there comes Jugaad in place. So Mars mission was a Jugaad, I will tell you how. So ISRO is a very institutionalized organization. But then when these young people thought, we don't have fuel. So out of joke, it came in a conversation, why can't gravity pull our system to itself? And that was the solution. It came out as a Jugaad. They relied on gravity, setting up this thing there, and the gravity takes it there. And then fuel was saved. So this mission was accomplished in the least budget that has ever been adventured into the space. So Jugaad actually comes there, right? And I would say that Jugaad is the soul of Indian innovation system. If implemented precisely, practically, under supervised conditions, it can do wonders. So it is something like this. So yeah, so that's my take on everything. Thank you very much.
Lovely. So we seem to be coming full circle here, Madesh. So as you said, not every repurposing, not every circular economy might be environment friendly at its heart, though it is greenwashed as such. So again, we are coming back to the point. Also, apart from the action, that is innovation, the label green has to be important. The intent has to be very important. There has to be a 100% assessment whether this repurposing or this circular economy concept or model is very much environment friendly and environment centric in the first place. That's a great insight. Lovely. You also brought in one more conflict that I want to put before this panel. The conflict is green innovation versus consumerism. We all know what is consumerism, like the advent of consumer choice, purchasing more than what one needs, leading to heavier consumption, larger consumption than what is intended to. So it is said, like Keshav was saying this to me yesterday, if everyone on earth consumes at the speed of Norway or at the rate of Norway, we would need 6 Earths. And if every one of us would consume at the speed of or the rate of USA, we would need some 2 or 3 Earths. But all we have is 1. So under the garb of green innovation, are we trying to create alternative products or greenwash all the products and provide options for consumers that are organic, green, environment friendly, but at the heart of it, are we still riding the same bandwagon called consumerism? How do we put it? Sudhanshu, you are the best one to talk about this.
I'm the worst to talk about this. In fact, I would say that Malika Pandey right there, who worked in the animal husbandry ministry and also with the agriculture ministry, is the perfect person to speak about this.
Of
in
course.
this panel of this.
Yeah.
And I think Malika should be up here to talk about this because there's enough men to talk and not enough women. Malika, do you want to come up and speak?
No,
about
audience are very much a part of this conversation. Thank you, Sudhanshu. Yes.
this? Awesome.
Yeah.
So, I think that's very interesting, and I think we need to go back psychologically, but also behavioral patterns. So, just a quick question: how many of you attended the inauguration ceremony this morning? With a show of hands. Okay. Now, how many of you actually listened to the talks that were happening? Okay, she almost raised her hand and then put it down. But okay, not all of them. What about Commissioner Ma'am? Did you guys listen to her talk? Something stuck with me when she started talking about youth, right? And she said something that I hope you guys also took away, and I'll share what my analysis of that was, and I'll try to come back to what you were talking about with this. She talked about we need to stop looking at youth as just an age bracket. UN defines it between 15 to 24. India defines it between 15 to 29. Other countries in Africa will do 15 to 34. In fact, there are some countries that define a 50-year-old and younger as youth. What we need to be thinking about, in her words, right, was the heart and the mind. And what I took from that, the mind part, was our psychological and neurological development. How are we, as young people, able to adjust, to the times that are changing, the society that's changing, and we, as society, as people that are on this, panel, but also as patrons, as people who are advisors or places of decision making and rule making, how are we adjusting our society, our regulation, our laws that we have into what makes the ease of a young person, again, the psychological development aspect, to be seamless with the changing times. And I think there's a big gap here. All the conversations we've had, I know you said we're not trying to romanticize Jugaad, but at the end of the day, we're romanticizing Jugaad. Ideally, if we're a $4 trillion economy, ideally, if we have an incredible, strong visionary leadership, both at the state level here in Andhra Pradesh and at the central level, right? We should not need Jugaad to make a $4 trillion economy. Look, Jugaad at the end of the day, maybe you might not agree with this, at the end of the day, right, it's different from innovation, and it's the absence of a structure, a framework, and system that people individually, as Yash was saying, have to make up for that gap. And to get to that, just being Jugaadi is not going to fill that gap, right? And I don't think that, this is really important. If we're talking about it, if we're not romanticizing or not romanticizing, but this is something that we had to live through here while we were growing up. That isn't something you all need to be thinking about and basing your economic decisions and prospects of by any chance, because by that time, we hopefully have developed into a $4 trillion economy, an economy that can provide standard livelihoods to all of you, right, to be able to pursue a just living without the need of having to do Jugaad in your daily lives. That is ideally what we need to be talking about. And I think that comes into, this psychological and neurological kind of development that we're talking about, especially for young people, when it comes to our consumer choices, right? When we're talking about what is the best way to live, what are the standards that we need to be putting in place, what is the policy the decision makers and the people working on the ground in business, in the public sector, how are they changing and developing and leaving a much better system in place than the one we had to grow up in? There are 670 million people below the age of 25, 67 crore. 67 crore people below the age of 25 in India. That is literally the third largest country in the entire world. Just taking that out. That can't survive on just Jugaad. They will literally be making their own, what you were talking about, consumer practices, etc., this green economy, etc. So it's our responsibility collectively to be able to adjust to what has happened and developed and progressed, taking into the urgency of climate change, taking into the urgency, I mean, listen, I was just in different parts of the world right now, and the climate is completely opposite. I mean, some of us come from Delhi, right? We're used to wearing shawls and we're used to wearing 2-3 layers in Delhi. Right now, I can't even wear a sweater. And this isn't just 10 years ago was different. This is a 2-year difference. So if we keep romanticizing these things and keep postponing these things and keep thinking about, oh, okay, whatever, we're going to leave a much worse off hell for these bright future kids than we currently live in exhausted. So I think that we need to be really quick, and I'll stop there. But for actual expertise, we should speak to Malika Pandey.
Of course. Malika is waiting. So, no, my question is not answered by Sudhanshu. So my question is green innovation an old wine in a new bottle? And are we still riding the bandwagon called consumerism and greenwashing all the things?
I think I'll just say one thing. What Sudhanshu has said, I mean, no matter whatever jargons we like to call it, of course, consumerism has increased, and let us not kind of, brush it off under the rug. But to add to Sudhanshu's thing, and to all of you out there, the young students who are sitting here, I think all of us are mentally aware of all these jargons, but how many of us actually put it into practice? Like Madhi sir said, that Fool is a brand which is already doing all these fancy stuff, and we buy these fancy incense. Like, how many of you actually are drinking from these plastic bottles today? You don't know about it, but you just collect, and this is consumerism. This is basic thing. All of our panelists who are talking about the green economy are drinking from plastic bottles, right? So is this not consumerism? I think this is a question that I put to our moderator and all the panelists here.
I'll just answer it differently. We have left our most important panel member off the panel. So to everyone, this is on a serious note, to everyone out there who really want to have a career or spin a startup in the green economy or relating to concepts of circular economies, Malika is the point of contact for you. Malika. No, she works very closely with central ministries, and she knows her ways around Government of India, and go to Malika. Sorry, we have left our most important panel member off the panel. Yes. Okay. Vaishnavi, are we near to the close, or? Okay. So we can take one more concept before we culminate all the thoughts. And Sudhanshu, I completely hear you about not romanticizing Jugaad, because it might be detrimental, you're saying. Yes. So that's a valid point, or that's a valid insight to the premise. Now, before moving on, I'll again touch upon the market players here, the ones who are in the market. So, Vinay, are we really in an uncontested space? Do you recommend people who are looking to initiate a startup, spin a startup, to come into the green economy space? What are the numbers looking like? And people, let's say, take example, if I have to spin a startup, should IT be information technology be an option, or green economy should be an option? Like, I just wanted to hear it from you.
So it's a good question, Rakesh. Maybe we should have started with this question, understanding what's the opportunity and how real is the opportunity in green economy. But it's fine, we are concluding with it, so maybe it will become, everyone will take it forward. So two stats I'll provide for this, for the green economy. One, when you see green economy as an industry, it's growing, it's one of the fastest growing industry just next to technology. So technology is growing at 18% somewhere, and the green economy is growing 15%. All the other traditional industries, be it pharma, banks, retail, any other industries growing below 10%. So that way, growth is really good in green economy. And second, if you look at the valuation of the current green economy, in 2025, it just surpassed banks. So the green economy today is larger than the entire banks in the world combined. So, and it's in fourth place. So there is pharma and tech ahead of it, but it's catching up. From these two things, we understand the opportunity is very real, and why this is very important for youngsters. This is one point which I want to add. From my engineering times, which is like 10 years back actually, when you see on campus, everyone knows the branch with highest strength is computer science, right? And that's where the largest number of opportunities are. More companies visit the campus for IT, and even they have very good careers. From that perspective, this green economy, it really opens up opportunities for all the other branches. Yes, IT is there. It's for one branch, but then even others are adopting to it because it has opportunities. But since in the green economy, if you take example solar, it requires from EEE to mechanical to civil and even chemical when you go into battery chemistries. So the opportunity is very large and wide compared to the erstwhile IT. So it covers a lot of young people. It provides a lot of opportunities. So it's very important to understand the opportunity and take advantage of it and in our careers. So these are.
So yeah, Vinay, one more question to that, an extension. So Vinay, you are actually now installing a 3 megawatt solar plant. What's that village? Lakshmipuram.
Yes, it's near Rajahmundry.
Okay.
It's one of our projects.
Okay. So let me be more clear. Let us go more insightful here. Can we talk about the unit economics on what you're operating? Also, let me say, if I'm coming from a background where I do not have enough capital or the land to install such a solar plant, what other routes are there to enter into this field? Because green economy is now promising, I'll ask this question to Jagadish also. You can take the example of Smart Bhujal, which is a very lean model to start something in this space. So first Vinay and then to Jagadish. What I'm asking here, everyone here, I'm asking Vinay and Jagadish a market entry recommendation. Vinay, over to you.
Yes, power is capital intensive and a lot of capex is required for that. So from that perspective, from a market entry standpoint, youngsters can think, they can start with designing. There is solar now, which currently we have quite a good 133 gigawatt of installed solar capacity in India. But the design services are very limited. Sometimes they are very scattered as well. Not enough players are there in the market, and it requires very less investment to start with. So design services is a good area. And for last 10 years, it's about installing the solar plants to generate energy. But currently, the focus is being shifted to maintaining them and running them for the for entire lifespan. So the investors get the optimal ROI. So even the operations and maintenance is becoming a large sector inside green energy. So asset light businesses in green energy is where if we want to see outside campus, we can start with. And eventually we can progress into more capex heavy industries. When you are progressing into that, the financial discipline and risk management are critical things that needs to be understood. So keeping those two in mind, then we can start with a larger capex models as well.
Jagdish, over to you. Please speak about your Smart Bhujal.
Could you please repeat the question?
So how to spin a lean startup in a green economy space? Spin a lean startup.
So in green economy, if you take any market, first of all, we need to understand what the other side wants, what your customers want. So if you don't understand your customers, then what I believe is that so there are two types. One, you can enter into a traditional model where you understand your customer and then you supply what they want. And the second model is you bring something new into the market, like ChatGPT or something, and then disrupt the market, and then you capture that market, right? So these are the two ways that I know. So in both of these ways, one thing that we should definitely follow is, starting with small, starting very lean, and then expanding based on the need. Currently, if you know a company like Linear, I don't know how many of you know it, but Linear is an AI startup, and it's one of the biggest startups right now in the world which uses AI, and they run only with 100 people, right? So they go pretty lean, and being lean means that you need to use whatever you have. So whatever that applies to the traditional economies applies here also. So when you have the right resources, you need to use those right resources at the right point, so that so that you can do wonders with the available resources that you have, right? And also I work in AI. So my goal is that using AI, we predict groundwater levels at different points. So that is what we do. And so when in this market where green space plus AI, right? So basically sustainability plus AI, in this innovative space, so many startups are coming today. And I request all of you, all of these youngpreneurs, to have a look at this space, sustainability plus AI, what AI can do. And there is also a conflict right now running in the market that we are installing a lot of data centers which are consuming a lot of water. But how are we using that AI to again save water? So this kind of conflict is going around. You can go into the market, find these interesting problem statements. For example, in Vizag, there is this new data center coming, and then you can understand how the cooling system works in the data center, how the water goes in, and how it cools the data center and comes out. If you understand all of these things, and if you try to develop a simulation, right, so thinking how this entire model runs, then you'll have a starting point, right? A starting point thinking, a starting point which will help you scale your model. Like we have been talking about a lot about Jugaad. So what if we use AI to develop a simulation itself, right? To write the code to entirely develop the simulation, and then we use that simulation to save water, to test different use cases, how to save water in a data center. So there are a number of possibilities when you include software A plus AI into sustainability, so that we can go pretty lean. So I request all of you to have a look at how AI could be useful in sustainability as well.
Sure. Thank you for that. Okay, and now I'll be opening questions to the audience regarding what we have spoken in the market entry space. Can we have some questions in the audience, please? Yes.
Good morning, my dear Indian dietary brain sisters and respected dignitaries, spiritual guides. My name is Kanan. Yes, I have two doubts. First of all, whatever the energy in the world, coming to the renewable energy, we should use the best of the best. Like the government of India puts such schemes, because India is a vast with a 140 crore population. Yes, the government of India put schemes like the PM Surya and the PM the Kusum. and we are not able to see such a good output? That is a question.
So, yes, please.
I don't have a solution to what you're saying, but I can try and explain how this thing works, right? See, the schemes that you're talking about, firstly, you genuinely have very great knowledge of this, right? These are the exact schemes that are out there, right? But you have to realize that these are what we call CSS, centrally sponsored schemes. Now, the thing about CSS, any CSS, it can even be, I mean, now Manrega has changed, Jairam Ji or something. But anyways, the point being, CSS schemes have a huge component of state governments implementing it, right? Prime Minister Indira Gandhi used to say that there are only 3 people who matter in the country, PM, CM, and DM. We forget the DM part, the district magistrate part, right? Very often. Now, you can go to all of these schemes have dashboards, by the way, live dashboard of how many rooftop solar installations in what state, what district, what city, how many farmers have taken up, the solar, the photovoltaic thing, right, for farm installation and generating the electricity. So Annadata to Urja Data, that's the tagline, right, so on and so forth. You will notice very stark difference in terms of, say, there's a state X which has done phenomenally well, while the other state has not. Most other states have not, right? We can think that that's because of political bias, but I have to be very honest with you, that's not the case, okay? These schemes are open to all, right? All states and all institutions, right? There are systemic reasons why the uptake is not uniform. Some state might have a very specific electricity grid which supports decentralized power, right? Some states might have, a lower level functioning institution set up to implement that particular change, right? Some states might, in fact, what we were discussing about Jugaad earlier, one of the biggest dangers that India faces today is with regards to something known as rare earth metals, okay? These are a particular class of metals, right, compounds, that is needed for literally everything from your smartphones to fighter jets, right? It's critical for India's security. But the thing is, China manufactures some 97% of these rare earth metals, right? Basically, only the Chinese do it. And they actually stopped the exports of rare earth metals to India very briefly until recently, okay? Now, and you can read about this, a Hyderabad-based startup. What they did was, e-waste, right? So when you throw away your phone, old DVD, TV, whatever, right? All of these have rare earth metals because these were made using rare earth metals, right? You can recover it out of these electronic devices, out of e-waste, right? So there was a Hyderabad-based startup which is trying to do it. For example, the SDD, the hard disk drive, right? 80% of it is rare earth, 80% of that disk, okay? They tried doing it, but just because that institutional setup does not exist, that process, the investment technology does not exist, this is different from Jugaad, right? They sort of gave up. They're like, we're not getting the kind of cost and economics that we need to do it, right? But the point being that, so there's like a systemic thing wherein, states have to sort of go and do better, right? In terms of how do you bring that down to the district level. But then also the institutions have to be that mature. And that's the vision we should have. That we can take shortcuts at individual level. When it comes to nation, that can't be the case. But yeah.
Yes.
Coming to yes, we are the young innovators. We have a lot of aspirations towards a green economy. Not only green, in any sector. If you want to be a good entrepreneur, startup industry, or anything. Especially when you see in India, going to the government, wherever we need the resource, like getting land acquisition is big problem. Getting, if you want permission, you need to engage with the different sectors of the government. Suppose you need to set up industry, you need to go to pollution control board, you need to go to the license. There are a lot of the departments which is involved. Getting permission and getting done work, it's a very big headache. A lot of leakages, a lot of corruptions are involved. So what we need to do this? We need what solution we need to get to ease of doing business and the speed of doing business to make support the young innovation. Yes, we are talking about the startup India which started 2016. But what is the solution? What is a single window clearance we can solve this?
Sir, you would like to take this?
Let me clarify. Your question is, you are a young innovator, how to implement things today, right?
Yes.
Okay. I would like to tell you one thing. Maybe it may not exactly answer. Find out the problem statement. What is the problem that today's society faces? What solution are you going to provide? One example I will tell you. Before the year 2009, the deforestation and degradation rate, particularly, I can give an example in Madhya Pradesh, they were losing more than 2% of the area on degradation. 2009 something happened. The government did not bring any new scheme on forest protection. They did not increase the number of personnel who are working. But there was a scheme which came. It was called MGNREGs. So for 100 days, the same group of people who are going to cut and bring firewood were used to protect. They were used to create more watersheds. So you see, the solution had nothing to do with the forest, but it gave an answer to that. Same way today we are facing a problem of plastic pollution everywhere. Yes. So as youngsters, 1,000 of you get together, write 1,000 letters each day to the central ministry saying very clearly, sir, any city in the country which is using single-use plastic, reduce your funding to the city by Finance Commission by 25%. See what happens to the city. I'm just giving you an idea. Okay? That may not be the solution. There is another solution also. Put up incentivizing centers. They were telling we are using plastic bottles. Yes, that is a problem. But sudden management, sudden crowds, the economy and the resource may not allow you to have a sudden plant to bring up glass water bottles. Put up collection points. Any student who deposits 100 bottles gets 5 marks extra in internals. See what happens. Your plastic gets managed. So provide solutions, either soft solutions or hard solutions that has a proper return on your investment at the same time that solves an active problem. Then yes, your innovation becomes a success. Thank you.
If this is not Jugaad, what is? Thank you.
Like 1 minute.
Yes.
I'm just want to add from like how to say like international background. Maybe I want to summarize from my like side how does it look. I mean, it's not only about environmental issues, but also in general. So if you like have your just idea, so yeah, I agree that you need to clarify it very like good. So because I work with youth and I see if like young people they are sure that they need to implement this idea, or they are like sure that they have a team that have like also resources or like knowledge and etc. who is going to implement it, they achieve their goal. And I think that we like to any project we can like highlight a few points. It's like you need to be like open to the world and in general to new knowledge in order to have right people around you in order to build a good team, and like it will be like ongoing process how you build this project. Also, you don't need to listen all the people around you, because I like tackled a few like times in my life when just I had an idea, so not all the people around me supported me, but in a month or maybe in a year they said, oh okay, yeah, it was a good idea, so maybe now it's time to implement it. So I mean that you need to looking forward, and despite like different like issues around you, if you are sure that you need to do that, you should do that, and like to be like to have this courage and to be brave. And I think it's about all the projects in general, and for sure like in order to have this like broaden, like in order to broaden horizons, in order to get new knowledge, I like you're welcome to Russia for sure. In order to in order to participate in different events, to meet different people, not only from Russia, from all over the world. And like if you're interested in it, for sure I will help you in this topic. Because I think it's about like so now world is very globalized, so you need to go to different countries to get new experience. And if you just have all this knowledge in your mind, you will looking forward to it will be very successful. Thank you.
I would also like to add that all policies are framed for the betterment of the citizens and keeping the national interest in mind. so like ease of business doing policy, which the current government is talking a lot. Why the government is discussing? Because people are raising concerns, people are raising voices about it, right? So you as young people, you have the power to drive change. If you feel certain policies needs improvisation or updations, because no policy is perfect, right? It needs inputs from the people, it needs inputs from the citizens. So why not you suggest, like as sir rightly said, inputs should be passed on to the concerned people and the authorities who makes the change. Secondly, like we keep transitioning from different sources of energy because, like energy security is very important for a country like India with 1.4 billion plus population. So like we saw transition from coal to petrol now to EV. So like, we were using coal, everything was perfect, but then we realized we are creating a problem. Then we moved to petrol. Oh, petrol is good. Let's start using petrol vehicles. Now we are using EV vehicles. EV is causing no air pollution. But if you see the grave problem in transitioning from different sources of energy, be it solar, wind, or any other energy, we are definitely damaging the environment at every cost. Like in petrol, if you buy a petrol vehicle, the damage to the environment will rise exponentially. Earlier it is at zero. Okay, the manufacturing takes puts some damage on the environment. But while you start, the more fuel you consume, more damage is caused to the environment. While in EV, while a lithium-ion battery is produced, the damage to the environment is at this peak level and then slowly and gradually declines. So it is just shifting the load of the damage to the environment from one place to another. So no solution is perfect, right? And I think so, and I believe since our population is increasing and the energy resources are limited, policies will go stricter from time to time. And we as citizens, we must be careful and cautious in using our resources judiciously. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Matish. So I don't know how fortunate we are, but we have got a Russian visa already. Please visit Russia. Okay, Keshav, you had a question.
So, first I would like to reflect on what Sudhanshu said, maybe with an inspiration. Do you know the name of this hall? No, it's originally called as the New Seminar Hall, right, sir? Yeah. Sudhanshu was talking about youth being an emperor in age. I came to this college in 2008. It was called New Seminar Hall. It is 2025, it is still called New Seminar Hall. So, age is just a number. I mean, the spirit has to be like the spirit of this hall. You are always new. Even though 20 halls have come in the same campus, the spirit of this hall is always new. You will always call this as the New Seminar Hall. Yeah, that's the joke part of it. But the real question I have the question for three stakeholders here: the government and also for the people in the public policy space. If I'm not wrong, sir, 2017 economic survey stresses a lot on the aspect that India is very poor in the way it manages its contracts. I mean, all the developed nations work very well on the implementation of contracts. You have a contract, but people may not be able to, people are not usually very serious with the contract, be it land. You have a contract on land, but people buying it twice, thrice. Seriousness with respect to contracts is low, which is why there are a number of litigations around the same thing as well. Okay, that's on the contracts part, a general fleeting statement on the contracts. But how, when we link it to the green space, or the current topic, carbon credit is one area wherein I think there is an allegation, correct me if I'm wrong, that developed nations try to use India in order to ensure that they invest less, but they get a lot of credits for very lesser investment. They get a lot in return. I ask this for an important reason, because you have a very young audience here, and I go with Sudhanshu again. We are progressing much faster than what we have been in 2016. I think contract enforcement has increased a lot. Can we leverage this carbon credit space with some MVPs, or can there be more startups in this space wherein you deal with contracts very seriously, enforce it rightly, and more space for entrepreneurs in this space, so that, it will legalize the system, it will formalize the system well, and it also help the environment on a different note. So if the policy guys can talk about the strength of contracts, it will help, and I want you people to help the people here understand if there is any space, or else if you have come across any startups in this particular space so that they can pitch And we have Sir here, they can help people here on incubating some of those startups in this space. Yeah.
Just really quickly, two things. One is with the EU market,
Yeah.
as well as before Trump to US market that there was, India was banned in a
Yeah.
way from trading. And that wasn't necessarily because of the lack of innovation or the lack of what we were doing. It was because our regulations weren't up to a standard, and if those standards were even like there for some companies, there wasn't a way to actually enforce those regulations and standards being put, right? That doesn't require some Einstein level innovation to be able to get. It's good quality regulation, maintaining it to a certain degree level that where you can trade, and being able to actually maintain that for those players, we would not have gotten banned. Like you accurately said, because of that, there is still trading happening, but cents on the dollars. What we're producing, what we're kind of being able to, the scale of it is so huge, but we haven't been able to kind of exponentialize that. So just two tidbits on that is that I don't think we need something that is Einstein level innovation. I think we really just genuinely need to pursue the standard that maybe industry leaders have developed. Might be biased. I'm not going to say that it's completely just from India's perspective, but that is the market leaders right now. That is where people are and companies are making a shit ton of money, right? And being able to pursue businesses that are economically friendly, but also capitalistic driven and a good bang value for your buck, right? But they've built that. If we want to play in that market, we have to play not in terms of their rules, but at least the regulations and standards they've met.
Yeah, so I bring this question because also on the point that Vinay added, which is, this is the third most booming sector, and if you can bring up something, if you can boom some more enterprises or some more startups along this, there's a lot of money there. And I think I ask this in this context because AP guys are usually very entrepreneurial. A sleek comment on is that our government may be poor, but our people are not poor, not just in terms of thoughts, but also in money. So these guys have got the money. If you can float some ideas, it will help.
First question to the students. How many of you know what is carbon credit? Please raise your hands. Okay, I hardly count less than 5 hands. So, can I get time to just explain what is that to them?
Definitely.
Okay. See, we all breathe in oxygen, give out carbon dioxide? Yes. So, plants and trees also do that, animals do that. And vehicles, any construction activity, they release something called as a greenhouse gas. A greenhouse is nothing but you put up a glass building, you allow sunlight to come in. Will the temperature inside the greenhouse be same as outside? Temperature is going to be higher. Same thing carbon dioxide does. And carbon dioxide is, as Sir told, around 423 ppm. When I studied in school, it was 382 ppm. With ppm is parts per million. Out of million molecules, how much is carbon dioxide? So it's around 423. For every 50 units of ppm, carbon dioxide increases. You can be well assured the temperature rises by 0.3 to 0.6 degrees Celsius. It varies as you go from the equator. So now, carbon dioxide being the most important greenhouse gas, all the global countries came together way back in 1992 and decided that we have to reduce carbon dioxide. So how do we reduce? Let us monetize it. So if an industry is emitting 100 tons, they said that, Nai Baba, you will emit only 50 tons. So for the remaining 50, for example, the first row people, they all planted trees. So if a tree is having wood 100 kgs, 50 kg of the wood is carbon. And 1 unit of carbon is equal to 3.67 units of carbon dioxide. You understand? Till now it's clear? So 1 ton of carbon dioxide is 1 carbon credit. And that 1 carbon credit, in Europe, it's around $90 because it's compliance market. In a voluntary market such as Vera, in US, the rate varies between $23 to $25. In Indian compliance market, the rates are somewhere between $4 to $8. Okay, this is the rate of carbon credit. Now, coming to the present sector, how we can improve. There is a local company in Andhra Pradesh called as Varaha Climate Solutions. I don't know whether you all heard of it. They work with the tribals in Paderu. Basically, tribals, we distributed a lot of lands as rights. and they planted cashew trees. So not only they get cashew, for the carbon stored in the tree, they are making money now. Now, consider how many of you have agricultural lands and you're doing only agriculture. What is stopping you from planting red sanders tree or sandalwood tree? 40 years down the line, when you cut it, the tree is going to give money. For the time it is growing and it is protecting the carbon. So for more than 20 years, if you can store the carbon, you can monetize it. You understand? So there are a lot of economic instruments found across the world. But coming down to the question of contracts, the problem is in India, we will accept, yes, it is my land, I will plant the tree. But tomorrow suddenly I will decide, no, this is not giving me money today. And I want to use this tree for my marriage, so now I will cut it. Now, as you said, yes, judicially we are stuck. We do not have immediate answers. But again, there is answers for it. We did have a lot of red sandalwood smuggling. So the state government of Andhra Pradesh established 2 special courts. So a normal case which was taking 10 years is now getting solved in 6 months. So yes, we have to invest in judicial systems. We have to computerize the judicial systems. We have to bring that also into real-time databases. Then yes, things will move fast. So there was this thing, I don't know in other states, but at least in Andhra, a typical time that takes a government babu to actually clear a file depends on how many calls he gets regarding that file. It's directly proportional. But today, any officer sitting anywhere in Andhra, the Honorable CM of Andhra can see that particular file and know for how much time he is having the file. Just last week, the Honorable CM has ranked all the ministers, including himself, in the speed in which they have cleared the file. The same metrics can be used in contractual negotiations. So that can be a better answer. If you ask me what is the solution today, I don't know. There are a lot of ways we can achieve the solution. We are moving towards it. And yes, regarding carbon credit also, I would say that yes, in Andhra Pradesh, particularly with respect to Forest Department, a new scheme called the Great Green Wall of Andhra was announced. Continuous across the coast, a 5-kilometer green belt of trees will be. And from the beginning, we are going to monetize every single plant that is going to be planted. So it is part of the policy now. So it is not a distant dream. It is already part of the policy. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. More questions we have.
Good evening, respected delegates. So my name is Mohan and I am from Tripoli background. So I just want to ask 2 questions, Mr. Vinay sir and Jagdish sir. So before that, I want to inform that India is the 3rd largest solar grasping country. So how many members here are using solar as the residential? I think very limited count. But the India is 3rd largest. So I just want to tell that if I went to my father or any other neighboring residentials, please install solar panel because I'm a youth change maker and I want to make a green revolution. But they definitely ask the first point is about cost. So already sir has dragged this point, but I want to ask you that if I want to tell to my Indian citizen or my neighbors, because of the cost point of issue, how can we overcome that? So that I can tell to any other Indian citizen. So what you will tell about that?
So I think the question is about rooftop, right? Rooftop solar. Rooftop solar costing wise, which the PM Suryagar, if you see, the subsidy what is getting offered and the installation what it's getting charged, net for a 3 kilowatt system, as per my understanding, the net cost is around 1.2 lakh. So in some cases it might look a little on the higher side, but with respect to the energy savings, when you look at it, the 1.2 lakh what is being spent is economically viable. So and I think that's understood by most of the Indian households already. So, so it's more about speed of implementing than selling the solution. Maybe selling the solution solar was tough before 2020, where the system cost is almost double than compared to today. So today the system costs are low, and that 1.2 lakh what they are spending, it's an economically viable option for them when they should get an electricity bill of around 2,000. So it's about right customers. You should not go to a customer who is getting electricity bill of 500 and then try to sell a system of 3 kilo. If you choose a person who is getting a bill of 2,000, then it will be viable. That's one point on that. Second, financing is also very good for this scheme. Most of the banks, they are offering at 6% interest exclusively for PM Suryagar. So that is also a very good option. When someone wants to install it, it's good to take that, in case needed, take that financial assistance because it's coming at a very low rate of interest.
Jagadish sir. Sir, as a youth innovator, and I have created a innovation, solar hybrid dewatering system. So it is a small innovation from my side. So I want to take it to the market side because I'm very low space because I don't know any youth innovators like me or any delegates because I'm a college student. But if I want to make that small innovation to the big innovation, so what I want to do and what I can give suggestions to my fellow students also. If you suggested me, I will.
Sure. So first of all, a very good question because having innovation is okay, but understanding how to sell it is very important. So what I suggest is when you have so instead of starting with an innovation, start with a problem, right? So if you have a problem, see generally as youth, what we think is that, hey, we have a brilliant idea, and then we attach that solution to a problem. That is not the way that business works. You should first find a problem, and then you should find a solution for it. So if you have, invented something, my suggestion is, at least now, you can find a problem that you can solve, right? Once you find a problem, so that is the first step. So once you have a problem, the second step is establishing the purpose. What is the purpose of your innovation? Once you have clarity, I request you to actually have, open a notebook and write down all of this. What is the problem? What is the purpose? And then who are your users, right? Even in the market, there are different segments of users. There are people who buy premium products. There are users who don't buy premium products, right? So you need to understand your user segment. And once you have your user segment, so that is step 3. Now you have a problem, you have a purpose, and you know your users. And then fourth step is you should go and talk to them, right? Whether if they are a business, if you are doing a B2B segment, so you should go and sell your product to some users. They may reject it, that's fine, right? But what you should understand is why they are rejecting it. What is the drawback? And then you go back to your product, you fix it. Then comes version 2. Then you take that version 2 to another customer, another user, and then you try selling it. So after several versions, you'll find something called a product market fit, right? Where your product fits the market. So once you have the product market fit, you don't have to sell it. The product sells itself, right? So customers need it. You know that already. You did the survey. And then once the product is ready, and then the product will automatically sell itself. You can sell it online. You can sell it offline. All that is just the next things that you will naturally discover. But these are the regular steps that any product follows, especially the field where I am, water plus AI, where we also follow the same process. But there will be some nuances that one might have to discover, right? So that's the thing. But if you can note down all of this, what is the problem, what is the purpose, and after that all the necessary steps, then you have a plan. Once you have a plan, then who is stopping you, right? Yeah, that's all.
Sir, small question to the host.
Yes, sure.
Sir, and a small question.
Yes.
If you became a prime minister, what is the first policy you will bring?
Sorry. Okay. If I become the prime minister, what's
First policy.
yeah.
Because I love the way you talk, sir. Just I want to listen the answer from you.
No. No, my Amit Shah is Madish. So, yeah, that's it. I do not have a proper answer to that, but my Amit Shah will take care of it. Yeah. So just we'll take this as the last question from the audience. So we can take that offline also. For the panel, we'll take this as the last question, and then we'll move into the declaration phase. Okay, yeah.
Andarki namaskaram. Sir, this is a question. Before saying that it actually a question, it is a doubt from since 5 years, because as a graduate of BSc horticulture student, I have a question that regarding why or is there any scope or chance to electroculture in our state or our country? So I want to know about this, because I suggest my juniors, super juniors, and all the people relating to the engineers who are really wanted to make a project related to the environment. So I suggest them to think about electroculture, but they are refusing my words, because it's actually a big project. So it is a question relating to all the panel members. The electroculture means using climate, using all the atmosphere, we cultivate the crops, specifically horticulture crops. So this is a question relating to the government, environment, and energy, and everything. So I request all the panel members, please answer to this question. I'm so grateful if I get the answer from you.
When all minds are boggling, we go to the professor. When no one can answer, he's our hero.
Let all questions be asked. Answers can be given later. They can be written.
Definitely, sure. Yes. We'll take the questions as inputs, and we'll be discussing offline on this. Yes.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Good evening, sir. Sir, I
Sure.
have one question for you. What skills are required to build a career in green innovation, sir?
Next question.
Yes.
So we'll take all the questions quickly.
I have that answer ready. I'll give you in time of conclusion. I'll give you the answer. Yeah, thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Sankirtana. So, when this panel discussion is actually happening, I had a thought in my mind. I would really like to express it here. And I don't know how much this is going to work out, but as Madesh sir said, that, I mean, earlier we used to use petrol, and then today we came to EV, but even EV requires a lot of water utilization. So, right from many years, the only thought that was in my mind that was always making me think is the wastage of sound energy, sir. So I personally feel if we try to install some acoustic membranes to vehicles and try to get the sound waves and convert them into vibrations and convert it into mechanical energy, then can we bring some innovation in the automobile field, and can we reduce the pollution through petrol or EV water consumption? And I don't know how much this is going to work out, but this is a thought that came into my brain. Sir.
Thank you, Sankirtana. We got your question. Next.
So to all the engineers sitting in the room, on the conversion of energy part, I studied computer science, so I know. So there is one energy very much available in India, and nobody is thinking of that. It's heat energy. There is no conversion possible effectively how you can convert heat energy into electrical energy directly. So I think all young innovators can start. We transform wind into electric, we transform solar into electric, nuclear into electric, thermal into electric. But how the atmospheric heat can generate electricity? I think it is possible, but somebody has to do it. Just give it a thought, all engineers in the room. Thank you.
Sure.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. I am Praveen.
Sure.
I am coming from Nalanda Degree College. Sir, I have a doubt and also question. How we can grow economically while still protecting our environment?
Take it. Yeah.
Sir, good evening. I am not keeping any question before the panel. I am waiting for your opinion. Sir, in India, we have many enactments like criminal laws and property related laws and everything. But here we are discussing about plastic pollution, environmental pollution, water pollution, and so on, so etc. So why we do not have a powerful act to control the pollution in India? Because I have gone through only Environmental Protection Act, Air Act, Water Act. In those acts, only limited penalties are imposed. Only limited punishment is there. But if a person is committing a theft, the maximum punishment is 3 years. But if a person commits any environmental pollution, in those acts, the penalty is limited, very limited, 5,000, 2,000, 10,000 only. And the maximum punishment is also 1 month. Why we are not going to bring such a powerful act to control the pollution in India? This is my question before you. Sorry, first I said I will not keep any question. I will ask your opinion, but this opinion turn into my question. Thank you, sir.
Just only one more question because the last ones didn't get more opportunity. This will be the last, I promise, and then we can go to the...
We have one here also. We'll take that as last. Sorry, we can discuss more questions offline, but...
Okay. Sir, I have an idea that everyone are telling that India is still developing a country. But according to that, China and India both started at the developing at the same time and having similar to populars. But China is developed. But India is still developing. I have an idea that why we are having sources that spices, etc., why won't we export that our spices to other countries and we can get a greenery and all, etc., and we can get a developed country according to this.
Yeah.
Sir,
So
I want to ask
one point here, all of the questions will be taken offline from here. All of these questions are recorded and there will be a white paper that will be an outcome of this panel talk, and all of your questions will be definitely answered there. So we are moving on to the declaration phase. Yes.
Sorry, please.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm waiting for this last opportunity.
Sure.
Customer.
Sure.
We are talking much about change makers and change talks, youth, everything. Fine, very happy to address. But I would like to submit one point that apart from these change makers to exchange makers, we have to become in the coming days. Talking entirely in the AC rooms with eminent personalities abroad, international to national to local, is a fantastic platform. But transforming inside to make our nation stronger is very important. Unfortunately, we have a water tank, dumping it water from one pipe, and at the bottom we are having 2 to 3 pipes in which water is leaking out outside. In inside we are dumping a lot with a lot of knowledge, transformation ideas, innovation and eminent personality talks. Unfortunate thing is in outside the AC room, what you said is about the third largest country which is having youth in the people is been highly influenced by the unwanted things, not like change makers. They are the followers of somebody which is really becoming a hurdle and a hamper for our nation, which is nothing but celebratism, which is nothing but politism, which is nothing but not moving in the right way of education. My father always would like to say one important point. Nana, getting answer, knowing answer after completion of an examination is not the use. What we are doing is talking about change after when it is happening on. Please try to put on a solution or medicine at the initial stages in the right education itself, so as our grown-up child to the grown-up individual will make a transformation in the nation through education. Thank you by giving this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. So, one of the thoughts that we had discussing about when we were preparing for this panel talk was, ఇక్కడ ఎంతమంది డీ షో చూస్తారు, లైక్ రియాలిటీ షోస్ చూస్తారో తెలీదు. ఆది ఉంటాడు కదా, అందులో ఒక వన్ ఆఫ్ ద షోస్ కామెంటరీ చేస్తున్నప్పుడు ఒక మాట అన్నాడు, ఎంటర్టైన్మెంట్ బాగానే ఉంది, డ్యాన్స్ ఎక్కడ. సో ఇప్పుడు దాకా వీ వర్ టాకింగ్, ప్యానల్ వాజ్ టాకింగ్, ఇట్స్ ఆల్ అబౌట్ ఇఫ్ వీ కెన్ కాల్ దట్ ఎంటర్టైన్మెంట్, ద డ్యాన్స్ వాజ్ ద ఎనర్జీ ఆఫ్ ద క్రౌడ్. And we can see that energy of the crowd, the interest of the crowd, the interest of the audience in actually providing inputs and insights on the discussion topic. So, ఇప్పుడు entertainment ఉంది, dance ఉంది, complaint లేదు. Okay. So before we move on, we would like to actually take our concluding thoughts from our panel speakers, starting from Narendran sir.
మీ ఎనర్జీని మ్యాచ్ అవుతానని తెలీదు. లెట్ మీ ట్రై టు ఆన్సర్ అ లిటిల్ బిట్ ఆఫ్ వాట్ ఐ కెన్ గెట్. ఫస్ట్ వన్ క్వశ్చన్ కేమ్ ఆన్ ఎలక్ట్రోకల్చర్. See, I immediately Googled electroculture. All I got was home garden farming, garden groups, different farmer groups. I didn't get a single research article. Now, if things are an established science, like precision agriculture, there is a village called Baseri in Rajasthan where a group of farmers were taken to Israel, given actual training and brought back. The GDP of the village went from 0.6 million USD to 20 million USD. That's around, it went from 30 lakhs to 250 crores in a span of 10 years. Because the technology is tested, verified and proven on ground by a country. So, yes, government will support schemes if it is a proven thing. We cannot just like that take public money and give it something on experimentation. That is why government is a rigid hierarchy in certain aspects. Then there were other questions on, sir, how in the growing economy I can become a green innovator. See, we spoke a lot about Jugaad, innovation and everything. But one thing that we are forgetting is our value system. Understand, we have a beautiful value system that came from a joint family to a regular family at least. Even today when I go, myself, my wife, my kid, my parents, we stay in the same house. Okay, sir, పొలంలో ఒక ఇల్లు ఉందంటే ఆ ఇల్లులో లైట్ ఆన్ చేసి ఇక్కడ రావట్లేదు నా ఇంటికి, అక్కడ మొత్తం ఆఫ్ చేసి అమ్మ నాన్న నాతోనే ఇక్కడ ఉన్నారు కదా. హౌ మెనీ ఆఫ్ ద ప్లేసెస్ ఇన్ అదర్ కంట్రీస్ వేర్ పేరెంట్స్ అండ్ గ్రోన్ అప్ కిడ్స్ అండ్ గ్రాండ్ కిడ్స్ స్టే ఇన్ అ సింగిల్ హౌస్? కన్స్యూమరిజం అక్కడే తగ్గిపోతుందమ్మా. యువర్ కన్స్యూమరిజం ఇస్ లాస్ట్ దేర్. ద బెస్ట్ గ్రీన్ ఎకానమీ ఇస్ ఇండియన్ జాయింట్ సిస్టమ్, జాయింట్ ఫ్యామిలీ ఆర్ అ family with the 3 generations living together. You are conserving energy. You are teaching values. You are not giving someone else to travel to your house to take care of your kids. Yes? Inkokati, just the way we eat, dantlo cheptano. When I was a kid, my intlo Saturday matra chicken untundi, Sunday aithe biryani. So we used to wait. Especially among brothers, a leg piece kaithe chala fight ostadi. సో కిచెన్ బయటే కూర్చుంటాము ఎవరికి లెగ్ పీస్ దొరుకుతుందని. ఇప్పుడు కేఎఫ్సీ వచ్చేసింది, అన్నీ వచ్చేసింది, ఏ ఫంక్షన్కి వెళ్తే చికెన్ ఉంటుంది, వారంలో ప్రతిరోజు కావాలంటే కూడా చికెన్ తీసుకోవచ్చు. బట్ ఇస్ ఇట్ గుడ్? నో, చికెన్ ఇస్ వెరీ గుడ్, ప్రోటీన్ ఇస్ వెరీ గుడ్, నో డౌట్ అబౌట్ దట్. బట్ వెన్ యూ ఆస్క్ అబౌట్ గ్రీన్ ఎకానమీ, లుక్ అట్ ద ఎనర్జీ కన్సంప్షన్ టు ప్రొడ్యూస్ అ చికెన్ అండ్ ద ఎనర్జీ కన్సంప్షన్ ఫర్ నార్మల్ గ్రీన్స్. మామూలుగా మనం ఏం తింటాము? రాగి సంగటి తింటాము. ఇప్పుడు రాగి సంగటి వదిలేసి రోజు రైస్కి వచ్చేసాము. సో లుక్ అట్ ద లెవెల్ ఆఫ్ వాటర్ రిక్వైర్డ్ టు మేక్ ragi and look at the level of water required to make 1 kg of rice. And if it's basmati rice, it's even more. Yes, we all want avocado. Why are we not eating local mangoes when avocado has to be imported all the way from California? Not required, right? We all are focusing on eating badam in the morning. Focus on eating amla that you get from local Andhra. Higher content of vitamin C and higher immunity. Yes, there are local protein sources. So the way we live life also decides the energy utilized by the economy. Now that comes from a value system which no innovation, no jugaad can replace. With these few words I would give to my other panelists.
Sir, yeah, Madish will, requesting Madish to share his closing thoughts.
So first of all, I would like to thank the esteemed panel and the wonderful audience, because your questions really inspired us to think differently and to solutions that really matters. And this is so promising that I see that the future of India is really bright, because the young people are very concerned about the future, how green economy works, and this really inspires me personally. So my simple message is very clear, that you put your best in learning from your surroundings. It's really important. But at the same time, you equally use your logic in a smart way, that what is right and wrong for the future generations to come. Because the world is really invested in you. Every resources of the country and nation are invested in your education, in your skilling, and you will be the workforce that will shape the future of tomorrow. So all the best to you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anastasia, one closing line from you as well.
So yeah, first of all, thank you very much again. Just I was learning during this session for myself. And also just want to inspire you again not to be afraid of like all the brave thoughts that you have in your head. Be very active, and I can say like proactive. So, and believe in yourself for sure. So because today some young people ask me like what are the advice for young people, I just can say also to believe in yourself, it's also very important. And for sure, in terms of environmental issue, I think that during this generation, especially in nowadays, we need, I think that we have already witnessed that, but still, we need to not like to think more about moral principles, values in our life in general, and India is a great example of that in terms of this great culture, heritage, legacy, and etc. And I think Russia also, like, we share these traditional values in our culture. So I mean, not to think more about material things, yeah, but also think about moral principles, and this like lead to caring of the nature also. So wish you all the best. Thank you very much again.
Thank you. And Anastasia and Madish have to leave. They have a flight to catch. So let us give a big round of applause for Anastasia for coming here. ఇంత యావరేజ్గా కాదు, కొడితే రష్యా కనబడాలి. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. We'll continue with the rest of the panelists. Sir, Professor, your closing thoughts.
Okay. Greetings to you all once again. I have 3 quick points. The first thing is, the questions need to be complimented. Those who have asked the questions, really they are very good and thought-provoking. I always say, if sun rises, it is called Suryodaya. If moon rises, it is called Chandrodaya. Only when a question arises, it is called Jnanodaya. That is enlightenment. So, and the last words of Gautama Buddha was, he said, Swadeepo Bhava. Whenever you have a question, you ponder over, you think about it, you will get the answer also. You yourself will get the enlightenment from that question. These are the last words of Buddha. Still, we will give the answers for that. The second point is, for a very long time I had a dream, and I could not fulfill that. I know that if my dream comes true, then after 300, 500 years also I will be living in this world. But I could not fulfill that, so I will sell my dream to you. And that is, Germany is ruled by a party, Green Party, that is Green political party called the Grüne. Die Grünen is the spelling, but the Grüne. So they are a part of the coalition government of Germany for last several decades. So I wanted to start the first green political party in India. But being a government employee, could not do it. If any one of you come forward and do that, I am ready to sponsor that also, and it will be on your side. This is the dream which I wanted to sell it to you. And the third and last point is, for all the problems of the world with reference to environment, there is only one solution, and the concept is given by our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, and that is Mission Life. If you take the Pollution Control Board today, the front line also, you will find the same. LIFE, life stands for Life for Environment. So this gives sustainable lifestyles. What lifestyles we should bring in ourselves so that the next generation at least will not suffer. Our generation has sufficiently spoiled this environment. There is no doubt about it. And we are handing over a worst environment to you. It is in your hands to protect yourself. So Mission Life gives what are the sustainable lifestyles we should bring, so that the environment is protected and we can pass on a good, reasonable environment to the next generation. So I have visited Chittagong in Bangladesh for about 4 days to educate the people there on how sustainable lifestyles can be. So I have brought out a small booklet on mission life. I have brought a few booklets here. Anybody interested can just go through that. So let us try to bring some positive change, environment lifestyles in ourselves. Little drops of water make the mighty ocean, little grains of sand, the pleasant land, little words and deeds in kindness only can make our one earth the heaven above. Thank you very much.
So, firstly, I want to congratulate the audience here. It was great interacting, and there is a lot of energy, a lot of good questions. So it's very good interacting with an young crowd. And what I wish to conclude with is maybe I'll say 2-3 things which has helped me with my career or with my in last years as the closing thoughts. So 2 or 3 suggestions if I can make. One is more, I'll tell a proverb for this. There is a good proverb saying, wisdom begins when you know yourself, right? Knowing yourself is the starting of all wisdom. So that's the proverb. So if knowing yourself is the starting of all wisdom, and that only comes with a lot of self-reflection. With self-reflection, lot of clarity arises, and with that clarity, you will be able to lead your careers very well. So please spend time for that, maybe 10-15 minutes a day. That will really help you. And second, have a good mentor in life. That also helps you. It sets a direction, like professor, and there are some great minds where you can choose them as mentors, and they will correct, and they also provide good direction. And the last thing is we speak a lot about other topics, but ultimately the financial knowledge and is also very important for an youngster. See, ultimately you want to thrive in the society, and it's some or the other way linked to the finance. And for good or bad reasons, it's not very well taught to us, or it's not available in our curriculums from the small ages. But today there is a lot of information that's available online. So please, that awareness is really, really key. 2-3 mistakes in financial world, if you do in a career, then this is my perspective, you won't be able to reverse them. So it's very important to take right decisions. And I'll conclude by saying one thing. The green energy, the opportunity is real, as I have quoted some stats earlier. So please understand the opportunity and take full advantage of it. Thank you.
So thanks a lot for listening to all of us. And so one last thing that I want to tell you is, if you are developing a business, if you are developing any startup, the one important suggestion that I can give is have patience. It's not going to happen in 1 year. You'll get an idea, and you need to implement that idea. But the problem is that as young minds, we feel that, hey, I've talked to the users and results are not coming. Of course, results won't come. There are a million businesses out there who are doing the same thing that you are doing. So we need to analyze the market and have patience for the next few years, so that your business, your idea will work out. So have patience if you are developing any business. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So ప్యానల్ అంతా మాట్లాడిన దాన్ని అంతటినీ మన భాషలో అర్థమయ్యేలాగా చిన్నగా సమ్మరైజ్ చేయాలంటే, నీ దగ్గర హౌ మెనీ ఆఫ్ యూ అండర్స్టాండ్ తెలుగు అండ్ హౌ మెనీ ఆఫ్ యూ డోంట్ అండర్స్టాండ్ తెలుగు? ఓకే, మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ అస్ డూ. ఓకే, తెలుగులో చెప్తాను. If you have got land, money and enterprise spirit, be like Vinay. Solar plant పెట్టండి, డబ్బులు సంపాదించుకోండి. If you have got land but no money but enterprise spirit, సార్ చెప్పారు, planting a tree is no more a philanthropic act. It's a business move. Earn revenue out of planting trees. మొక్కలు నాటండి, డబ్బులు సంపాదించుకోండి. If you don't have land, if you don't have money, but have enterprise spirit, be like Jagadish. Technology and water management తోటి తను ఒక స్టార్ట్అప్ స్టార్ట్ చేశాడు, and he is leading it beautifully. So without anything, if you have enterprise spirit, go to him. You have land, you have money, you have enterprise spirit, but you don't know where to go to Mallika. She'll give you the route. She can take you through navigate you through all the complexities of the government and get your startup spun. If you don't have anything and are confused, go to Russia. If you're not even confused, రేపు ఎల్లుండి కూడా ఈ హాల్కి రండి, ఏసీ ఉంటుంది, టాక్స్ ఉంటాయి, తిందాం పడుకుందాం. So our AP State Youth Festival is very inclusive in this aspect. So this is comically putting all of the things that have went inside the talk. On a serious note, I have one last line. We have listened perspectives from policy, think tanks, from people who are practicing, from bureaucrats, from people who are in the market. కొంతమంది జుగాడ్ కావాలన్నారు, కొంతమంది జుగాడ్ వద్దన్నారు. But let us listen to the people who are in the market. They said, for at least cracking your MVP, you have to have jugad. It's about repurposing, it's about what you do with what you have, doing less with more, focus on the function, speed to the market. After hitting MVP, come to these people. They're saying you need to have institutional build-ups, institutional pipelines. ఇది చేసినా అది చేసినా సెంట్రల్గా ఉండాల్సింది ఏంటి అంటే, have that intent clear in your mind. Be environment friendly, be environment conscious. So to put it in one phrase, individual or institution, let us be strategically mean. Strategically mean ఎందుకు? జుగాడ్ ఉండాలి, MVP బయటికి రావాలి. Be strategically mean. Once you hit the MVP, be operationally lean, and even if you do both of this, be environmentally clean. So with this, I conclude the declaration of the talk. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Really excellent. Thank you. Very excellent. Thank you.
One group photograph of the panelists who are on stage right now. Please clap for this panel. This is our first Changemaker talk for UR 2025 on green innovation and eco-entrepreneurship. I want to summarize, but I see the time is less. So yeah, the floor is now open for questions. The panelists are here. You can talk to them. You can ask your unasked questions. Group photograph.
Sir, I want to ask a question.
We will take it. We will take it afterwards. The speakers and the panelists are here for at least 15 to 20 minutes. You can ask all your unasked questions and get answers from them. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining. I hope we will see you tomorrow along with your friends for the talks on thought leadership,